All right, we are live. So, wanted to come on here and talk about a topic that's been on my mind a little bit, just from conversations with clients of just them maybe making a decision around their fat loss goals, whether it be to maybe skip a workout or maybe to not go for their walk or maybe to eat this versus eat that, and feeling kind of down on themselves and feeling like they ruin things or just feeling not so great about the decision. So, if you find yourself constantly, along your fitness or fat loss journey, making choices or decisions that sometimes don't align with the actual goal that you want to achieve, and then you're kicking yourself afterwards as to, how can I get myself to actually choose the right decision more often, then this one's going to be for you. So, a lot of bad decisions you make for fat loss would turn into good decisions if you just ask yourself first, how will this make me feel 30 minutes from now? So many of our decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis are just very reactive, and we don't really give them much thought, and we make these decisions based on how we feel now in this moment, but not so much about how it's going to make me feel, choosing this action or taking or making this decision, 30 minutes or an hour from now. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So, one example was even just last week. My wife and I had long days at work, and we didn't feel like cooking. And it's a common theme if you listen to my podcast. Sometimes we cook often, but we do take advantage of like convenience, foods here and there too. Which just goes to show you don't always have to have these perfectly curated home cooked meals all the time to see fat loss progress. Most of them should, but not all the time. But anyways, we were tired, both had long days, and we were like, okay, what do we want to get to eat? And we threw out a couple of ideas, and one of them was pizza. And pizza is amazing. I love pizza. No hate on pizza, but whenever I eat pizza, I typically just don't feel as good afterwards. And I had like a really heavy, hard workout planned for the next morning. And I work out first thing in the morning. So what I eat the night before, and this is a little tip for you, will play a big role in how good you feel in that workout in the morning. So if you eat a bunch of food that's maybe really greasy, really high in fat, that makes you feel sluggish, it's probably going to carry on to the next morning versus if you ate something a little bit more nutritious. So had this heavy workout the next morning, and she suggested pizza, and I was like, pizza sounds good, but I kind of want to get something a little bit healthier. And I'm not even in a fat loss phase right now myself. So like I have plenty of wiggle room with my calories because my calories are at maintenance right now. But I was more so thinking about how I was going to feel. So because of that, we had some discussion and we ended up going with Chipotle. Chipotle is an option for me wherever I eat or whenever I eat it. I usually feel pretty good. Like I don't feel, super bloated after Chipotle. Maybe if they end up giving me like huge portion sizes and I end up eating the whole thing. But usually when I go to Chipotle too, I get white rice, steak, double steak, fajita veggies, cheese, and lettuce. So I don't even get like all the super high sodium sauces or like sour cream and all that on mine. So it's pretty simple, just rice, veggies, meat, and cheese. So I always feel really good after eating Chipotle. I feel satisfied, but I also don't feel like and sluggish too. And we ended up going with Chipotle, and I felt really good afterwards. And then I had a really great workout the next morning. And that's simply because I took a second to pause and not choose like my first instinct of, sure, let's get pizza. Like I paused and thought, how is this going to make me feel after eating it? And how is it going to make me feel 30 minutes from now? And then also, even went a step further, how is it going to make me feel the next morning when I'm trying to work out? So that's one example. Another example is when I was in a fat loss phase and my steps were a little bit higher and I was aiming for at least 10,000 steps. Typically in maintenance, I aim for around 8,000, but in a fat loss phase, I aim for around 10,000. And last time I was in a fat loss phase, I was just so busy throughout the day. Once I started like working and then my son woke up and all this, it was just very difficult to try to catch up on steps. So this is a tip I give for all of my clients too. Like, knock out as many steps as you can as possible first thing in the morning before your day starts. Because if you can knock out, 4,000 steps before the chaos of your day even begins, then you're going to set yourself up for success. But there were so many times where my alarm would go off and I wanted to hit snooze so bad because waking up and getting those steps in was something I just didn't really want to do. But I thought, like laying in bed to myself, after my alarm went off, how am I going to feel 30 minutes from now or 30 minutes after I get my steps in if I just get my ass up and do it? And then I thought, how am I going to feel 30 minutes from now if I sleep, let's say an extra 30 minutes instead? Probably not going to feel that different. Like, I'm not going to feel that much more energized getting 30 minutes extra sleep. Maybe if I was going to sleep in for another hour or 2 hours, like, yeah, I'd feel a difference. But an extra 30 minutes at that point, because I'd already gotten, close to 7 hours, probably wasn't going to feel that much better. And I thought, okay, if I snooze my alarm for 30 minutes, miss out on my 30-minute walk, how am I going to feel mentally then after? And I'm going to feel kind of stressed because now I'm going to think, okay, now I have to make up these steps somewhere later in my day. I have to get my walk in somewhere later when I have this busy day ahead of me. So I stopped and thought about this as I was laying in bed, and that pushed me to actually get up. So that was me again, thinking about how I was going to feel 30 minutes from now, a little bit in the future, if I went and took this action or if I didn't take this action. And doing that is so powerful for a couple of reasons. One reason why this is so important, or this is so powerful, this strategy of thinking, a little bit into the future, is it makes us truly experience how good or bad we will feel if we make this decision or not. Because what you're basically doing is you're thinking ahead, putting yourself into, or like imagining, okay, what if I go through these motions or these steps and don't take this action? How am I going to feel? And you almost can like trick your brain to like experience how you will feel even when, that time hasn't even come yet. And you do that for the good decision, and you feel all these good feelings, these positive feelings of reinforcement, accomplishment, even physically, how you're going to feel, all of that. And then you do the same thing for the negative feeling. Then you feel all of those negative feelings of, okay, maybe a little bit of guilt because I didn't actually hit my goals and I didn't, do something that I really could have done. You have these feelings of maybe physically just not feeling as good with the, example with the pizza versus Chipotle, and knowing the pizza was going to make me feel way more bloated. I was going to maybe have a hard time sleeping at night if I ate too much of it because it was, a late dinner and all of this stuff. Like, you physically feel those negative feelings too, obviously not as extreme and intense as if you truly were in that moment, but you can really trick your brain to like put yourself in those moments or situations and really get a grasp of how that would feel. So you're almost like punishing yourself for that negative decision, not in a sense of like, oh, you're a bad person, but like in the sense of like psychology when it comes to positive reinforcement and like punishment and those kind of, that's how I'm using this term. But you're almost punishing yourself ahead of time for that decision by feeling those negative feelings and everything. And then you're all also at the same time rewarding yourself in advance for those positive actions and behaviors ahead of time. And that, like, in itself is so helpful to pushing you in the direction of the right decision. Another reason why this is so important is because it forces you to disconnect from how you feel currently. We make so many decisions on a day-to-day basis based on how we feel in this very second in this moment. Oh, I'm tired. I'm not going to do this. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm just going to grab and eat this. Oh, I'm irritated. I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm stressed, so I'm not going to get my workout in. And we make so many decisions based on how we feel in this present moment, when sometimes how we feel in the present moment, we just need to do the action anyway. Even if we feel tired, even if we feel irritated, we feel sluggish, or we feel stressed, we just need to do the thing anyway, because it's going to make us feel better in the long term, or even in like the, near future, short term, 30 minutes from now. And by doing this exercise in your head, thinking about these things, it allows you to, or forces you to disconnect from how you currently feel when how we currently feel might be pushing you away from the desired behavior you're trying to achieve. So it's two reasons why these are important. I'll give you one last example too from a client who's been absolutely crushing it. Her name's Samantha, and I'm super proud of her. She came into the program and she had no experience with tracking her food, really. All of this stuff was super confusing for her, when she first got started. And she has come such a long way of just continuing to show up, continuing to learn, continuing to ask questions. And now she's nailing the food tracking, seeing a ton of progress in her fat loss phase. She actually extended for another 6 months too of coaching, which I'm super excited to keep working with her one-on-one. But she has been doing this really awesome exercise, and I wanted to share because I know it's going to be really helpful for you. So what she's been doing, and she even did this without me necessarily telling her directly to do it. I know I've probably talked about it in some podcasts or videos here and there to some degree, but she kind of took the initiative to do it herself. But what she does is, like, when she's going throughout her day, especially when it's a more like snack type item that she wants to eat, like let's say if she gets home from work and she's sitting on the couch with her family and they're making popcorn, watching a TV show, she'll log the popcorn that she is thinking about eating and just log it, put it in MyFitnessPal, put 1 or 2 servings, however much she's thinking about it. And she'll look at it and see, okay, this is how many calories it's taking up. This is how many calories I'll have left over. This is, how big of a chunk of my food intake it's taking. This is what I might have left over to eat later if I do eat this, or maybe I won't have anything left over. But she'll log what she plans to eat, and she won't make a decision right in that moment, but she'll sit there for like 10 to 15 minutes and just kind of like marinate in the fact of, okay, like if I ate this, how am I going to feel? And then maybe if I don't eat this, how am I going to feel instead? And it's so powerful, this exercise. And because a lot of times she'll choose to then just delete it from MyFitnessPal and realize, you know what? I don't really want the popcorn. Maybe I'll have like something else, like an apple or some kind of fruit or some other kind of snack that's maybe going to fill me up a little bit more, or whatever it is. But like just forcing yourself to have a little bit of time delay between the action you're thinking about taking versus actually taking it. And then also allowing yourself to just sit there for 10 minutes before actually like doing that action and weighing out the pros and cons and just kind of imagining what it would feel like if you did, make that decision, is such a powerful tool, because it forces you to slow down, forces you to think through and weigh out the pros and cons and the scenarios if you were to take this action versus if you wouldn't. And then you can really like take the action and or take the actions that are really worth it to you versus ones that we take off of simply just like being reactive to our environment of, oh, I'm stressed, let me grab a cookie. Oh, shoot, I ate a cookie. Really shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'll try better next time, which, is a fine attitude to have. And like, if it's already done, it's in your mouth, you chewed it up, you swallowed it. That's all you can do, right? Is reflect on it and make a better decision next time. But instead of just grabbing the cookie, when you're stressed, like think about it for a second. Think about it for 10 minutes and think, I'm really stressed. I really want this cookie. If 10 minutes from now, after weighing out the pros and cons, I decide that eating this cookie is worth it, then I'll eat it. But if 10 minutes from now, I realize, hey, like, an hour from now, I'm going to be like, I didn't really need that cookie. Or tomorrow when I realize, I went over my calories again, I'm going to be kind of frustrated and think, I probably didn't have to do that. If those feelings come up, then choose not to eat the cookie and eat something else. So wanted to share this because I thought it was, super helpful. Don't be so reactive. Give yourself time to think and truly think about how it will make you feel in kind of the near short term, like 30 minutes or an hour from now, but maybe even tomorrow. Like think how it's going to make you feel tomorrow if you do or don't take this certain action today, and let that kind of drive those behaviors. So hopefully this was helpful, eye-opening. If you want more help within your fitness or fat loss journey, you can click the link in the comments to join my paid group membership. This is the I Thrive Collective. There's recipe ideas in there, workouts, motivation. There's challenges we do every month. There's videos in there taking you through how to go through fat loss phases like I take my clients through. Or if you want me to literally walk you through this entirely one-on-one, you can apply for one-on-one coaching in the link below too. So, yeah, that's it for this one, and I will see you guys in the next one.